Okay, Simon. The
Yes.
the third question is actually about the Adelaide tea house pay dispute.
Okay.
If you have heard this news, it is
Yeah.
quite hot. The reason that I put this one is because it is happened between Chinese people or ethnic Chinese. Although the guy who slapping the girl in the face is an Australian citizen,
Yeah.
but they migrate from mainland China, from Inner Mongolia.
I see.
So I don't want to put like whole story here because there is a video about this. I made it, and the question is, when I get overseas, when you first stepping out of the country, facing to the whole strange environment, you may a little bit like worry and hesitated, and
Correct.
you tend to get gathering or make a group with the Chinese people around you, then helping each other actually, get some assistance from the old migrant. Maybe they will help you to resolve this and that problem, especially when your language skill isn't that good.
Right.
Yeah. So, but the consequence is quite ironic actually. When this is, I'm not talking about this is only about Chinese people, but when Chinese people try to get along with the old migrants, usually they try to take advantage on you or pay less to you, or all this kind of how to call it, like try to
Rip you off, right?
yeah.
The guy who already been living in the foreign country for quite a long time, they usually can have more power, so they take advantage of those power to
sometimes
try to rip off the newcomer.
Discriminate.
Right.
Like this guy is a new guy and he know nothing. Then maybe we can take some advantage on him.
Right. Correct.
Yeah. So what's your opinion?
Well, I think it happens quite a lot of times. I personally have heard some news, whether they're from the internet or from people around me. So the first time I went to the US, well, it didn't happen to myself, but I know some people, they got taken advantage of by the locals over there, whether try to buy a car.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Or try to.
I bought a rubbish car for 3,000 Australian dollars. It's a really rubbish car. And
did you bought it from some Chinese?
I bought it from people from Tianjin.
Tianjin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that one only cost like 1,000 maximum over that time.
Okay.
But anyway, that's a small story of mine.
Okay, so my point that it's somewhat inevitable because people who have been living there so long, they have that ability to communicate with the society well. So most of the time, the newcomers, they don't have that ability. They don't know the language, so they have to try to ask the help from the Chinese, right?
Yeah.
So, that gives the locals the ability to,
You mean the locals are the local Chinese?
Yeah, the local Chinese.
The Chinese migrants.
Yeah, the Chinese migrants, some privilege. So they can help them, but they don't have to.
Yeah, it happens people,
so,
the old migrants helping the newcomers, but I cannot give you percentages, but in very high possibility that you will be ripped off by them.
Yeah, there's a saying actually among those Chinese going overseas. They say it's just try to avoid all those Chinese living there longer than you, right? Just they were.
Have you worked in a restaurant or to be a waitress?
No, I haven't worked in a Chinese restaurant, but I do have some internship at Disney World.
Okay.
So we do have a lot of Chinese, local Chinese. Chinese student from mainland China, and also we actually have full-time employees, they migrate to Florida. Just by the way, Disney World is in Florida, so we do have maybe a few Chinese over there. I heard there's actually a theme park. So first of all, in Disney World, there's like 4 theme parks. So there's one theme park. There's a Chinese restaurant, and I heard some of my classmates, they work over there. They did an internship over there, and then they said like their boss is a Chinese, but he has been there for quite a long time. He's kind of harsh to the Chinese students.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if that counts as some, taking advantage of the, Chinese fellows. So.
Yeah, I mean, I worked in a restaurant for several days, and I quote, because I could not, keep myself over there, because it's just, people are yelling at you, and you do a quite high load of working, to wash the dishes and clean the floor, or, do all these kind of things.
I think the reason, this thing just popped into my mind, I think the reason why this kind of taking advantage of things happens so frequently among Chinese is because a lot of Chinese migrant or newcomer, they don't have a legal visa to work, let's say, in the United States. So that give the employer some advantage to taking that advantage, right? So they can do whatever they want because you can't report to the police.
But is that leading to a illegal employment?
Yeah, it also.
I mean, it is a illegal migrant. Not who is not protected by the law. Right. Okay.
So I think it also will cause some issue for the employer because you are not supposed to employ a illegal immigrant, right? But I feel like most of the time, those immigrants or those illegal migrants, they still want to stay in the U.S. or in those developed countries because as long as you get caught, you probably will get sent back to China and never be able to step your foot on this country. So that gives the employer some ability or some privilege to just take advantage of them. That's just my point of view. But
I mean,
this probably happened quite a long time ago, maybe 10 or 20 years ago. But I'm not sure if this thing still continued today.
Okay. Okay, so I bring you another question.
Sure.
It is quite a hot topic in the Chinese social media. A lot of news websites report this news, which is about MoCha, a young Chinese villager actually.
Right.
He grew up from a very poor area, which is called Daliangshan.
I see. Yeah.
And then later on, he moved to Chengdu to be a migrant worker, whatever it is. And so this guy was dead, sadly, unfortunately, in his rent apartment without anyone's notice for like more than 10 days, and because of the illness and also because of the poverty actually. So my question, I noticed recently in the Chinese social media, it wasn't a official news report or something.
Right.
It's just some newspaper or some individual journalist, or they reported MoCha wasn't that poor in his life, and actually he was addicted by internet game.
Okay.
And he had some criminal record in the police, but I think the local police office have never come out and try to confirm all this news.
Okay.
So for me it's quite strange, when you do have like Bilibili, that's our Chinese social media, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of young people on Bilibili supporting him. His subscriber like dramatically raised from 200 to 2 million or something.
Wow.
And people also like raise a fund. There was a company that I said in my video try to raise a fund. Oh, to be by the way, I was talking about MoCha stuffs, and I was like asking the pro-China YouTubers, can you guys helping MoCha because there is a fund which is established by a company, try to build a program to help the other content creators in China are not have that much money to do all their stuff. Someone, you know, can not even afford a laptop for video editing. So the good thing is Jerry Good contacted me, and he wants to donate some money to that fund.
Yeah.
I have to be very like objective, you know. It didn't mean like I anti all the pro-China YouTubers. You know, when they do something good to the society and to this China YouTuber community, I really appreciate that, right? So, but now the things which is going on is that company or that fund, so far they do not accept any money donation.
Okay.
But they do accept like a second-hand laptop or desktop. If you have like a pretty good configuration of those laptops or computers, just let them know, and they will check if it is worth for them. So this is like a little bit update for that.
Yeah.
So, but for the reverse of the some like medias try to reverse the whole story. Do you have any opinion on that?
Well, I think we have seen this kind of situation. How to say? Happen before, right? It happen actually all the time. There are some poor guys who have some bad experience or pass away because of some accident, and then they got a lot of public attention, and then after maybe several days, someone's stand out and point out that, hey, this guy, because he made some mistake or he did something terrible, that's why they try to justify the bad experience or bad life they have, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say not all the time, but I feel like most of the time, someone they just try to take advantage of this whole patriotism, you know. So they will try to justify why these people have a unfortunate life.
So what they are trying to say is all the tragedy happened to MoCha. It is because of his, own personality, and he should take the full responsibility of his bad situation, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I have the same feeling, but fortunately it is not a mainstream opinion on this.
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if MoCha got reported by those Chinese official news platform in the first place. Have you heard any?
No.
Like People's Daily or China Daily, have they ever reported the situation about MoCha? I don't think so.
I don't think the mainstream media or the official government newspaper, like Global Times,
I feel like they don't even bother to report those. It is
a internet topic, trending only in the social media or some internet news website talked a little bit, not in the like homepage to talk about these things. I think that the biggest information source is from Bilibili, because MoCha is a content creator hosted on Bilibili. So I think Bilibili's like company's opinion is quite obvious, and this is a tragedy. We want to help more people like this.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Simon. The last question.
Sure.
And maybe you are not following this news or this story a little bit. I'll give you a brief introduction.
Okay.
There was a guy called Lonely Fly, and he is actually a little pink, what we so called or Wu Mao. So the difference between little pink and Wu Mao is get paid by somebody.
Okay.
Little pink are like they really believe what they are saying.
Okay.
So this little pink commenting, like spreading hatred, commenting all over the there's another Taiwanese channel called FunTea or something.
Okay.
And so they're talking about like Taiwan and how great Taiwan is, and
All right.
he always like trying to make a bad image about those little pinks.
Okay.
So this little pink reported that channel, YouTuber channel, inside China, and say that channel is run by the separatist of Taiwan,
Okay.
and to the local police office. But this little pink got caught by the local police office and asked him, to 写一个悔过书
Like write a guarantee letter.
confession or something.
Some letter to guarantee that I will never use VPN.
That's right.
Out of
Yeah.
To
because,
go to YouTube again.
because it is illegal, obviously, to
Right.
Get out of the Great Wall. And later on, his family got a farmhouse or something. It was like tear down by some like construction company and try to take their land or something. So he posted a video on YouTube and crying about all these things.
Okay.
So, but my question is, do you think these little pinks or this group of people are just like a young generation who is really taught by the education system, and they do have like certain opinion on Taiwan, on American, and they really believe that, and actually they are the lower class, not the lowest, but the low class of this country, and they do not living in a quite good living standard in the country, but they still trying to be proud of how great China is. So what is your opinion?
I think most of the, you say little pink or Chinese nationalists, I think if you have received normal education in China, like you and me, at some point of our life we are all Chinese nationalists. I don't know about you, but just take me as an example. I would say before I graduate from college, I'm still somewhat on the side of Chinese nationalists, because that's how the whole education designed to shape you, right? So during the primary school, middle school, high school, you have those politics course or modern history course. They are all designed to shape you to a certain way. So I think most of what I observe from the internet, what I think is that most of the Chinese nationalists, they probably haven't experienced China enough. Probably most of them haven't graduated from college. They may get some education. They may have some work experience, or they have migrated to a different country, but I don't think they have ever lived in an ordinary life in China as maybe a migrant workers. If you ever have worked in some first-tier city, and if you don't have any family support, it's really difficult for you to have a decent living. I mean, those people, they don't even have the time to be Chinese nationalists on the internet in the first place. They probably have to work their ass off and then go back home. I don't think they have the energy to post those hated comments. I think most people who got those luxury or those time to post those hate comment. There are probably two types. One type is those Chinese living in China. They are still students. They got some time, so they can use the VPN to get outside of China and watch all those content. And another group of Chinese, they probably they probably have more privilege. Some of them are probably very rich, and then they go they don't receive a full, maybe they graduate from high school, then they go to college and study abroad, right? So
I mean, it makes sense if you are from like the elite group,
family,
the elite group of this country, and you try to defending the system, or you try to defending all the bad news, put a trash.
Right, I totally agree with you. If you're from the elite family and you are very pro-China, I 100% agree with you. I think it makes total sense. But if you are from some like third-tier city, and if you are from a very below middle class family, and you still think this system is designed for everybody, then I just not so sure about that.
Yeah, it is actually quite interesting. Well, I do have like friends from really rich family, and they from all the provinces around China. Some of them like super nationalist for sure, but in many cases you do think like those guys are quite reasonable. They they love China on one side, but they still like love the Western culture on the other side. So what I did an interview with one of my friend, and he's from like a red PLA army family, and he's quite reasonable actually. But on the internet, like I observed some forums in China, and in those forums you can see like people posting in different threads, and they sometimes like post their like difficulties in their life. So on one side they are spreading all this hatred to the people who is talking maybe negatively about China, and then in the other side they are suffering the real life here, So for me it's quite interesting, and it's a quite interesting setup actually when you face those people and try when you say anything bad about China. I mean it's not like politically bad, it's just to say like some place is really dirty and you have to clean up, then they try to swear you or something.
How dare you talk bad about China, right?
Yeah.
So I think these people are, I have to blame our education system for that, because most of the time, if you have ever, for any Chinese out there, if you have received our full 12 years education system, most of the time our history book or our Chinese book, they would teach us we have received so many humiliation in the past, and we got looked down upon. So now we are getting back to the race. We are getting back. So they give you those sense of patriotism or those nationalism, and never once in our book they teach us that making criticism of a country is actually a good thing, right? We always talk about things that people make criticism. Actually, in ancient Chinese, they say it's like criticism actually is good for you, and those sycophants, they're actually bad for you. But in the politics world, things just got reversed. I don't know why, but they got reversed. But actually, in the ancient Chinese history, we always say 良药苦口而利于病，忠言逆耳而利于行. It means a good medicine usually tastes a little bit bitter, and also the word that may sounds harsh, but actually they are good for behavior, right? But then in those politics world, things got reversed. You always say good things, and then it means pro-China, patriotism. And if you ever make criticism, then you're considered as anti-China.
Yeah.
But actually, that's totally BS, I would say.
That's why I always say like the word positive is manipulated and misused in many places, right?
Right.
And sometimes when you criticize a country or you criticize the social system, you want to make an improvement, like
Right.
to make people be aware of it. Then we can make the society getting better. So I think that it is, and that's the questions that I figured out to try to ask you after half a year in the gathering. So
That's wonderful.
yeah. So it's quite a pleasure to have some of you here, and we can make another video for you guys. So if you love this channel, and give me a subscribe, and see you next time.
All right. Peace.
Yeah.